And now I'd like to introduce Jianming. Jianming Ma works for Texas DOT. He's the director of the traffic management section. Jianming will discuss the same way Atina did. He'll be talking about the agency practices and lesson learned from the Texas DOT side. Welcome, Jianming.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Judith. I guess I really appreciate the opportunity to share what we've done here in TMC staffing level analysis. We did our initial staffing analysis back in 2018. We updated in 2022 with some new information, and we're in the process of updating it again because there are a lot of new changes, new technologies, and as well as new situations that we're dealing with. Again, thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, I guess for this exercise, we have teamed up with AECOM team to figure out basically the best staffing levels for 6 of our busiest traffic management centers in Austin, Dallas, El Paso, Fort Worth, Houston, and San Antonio. To get best results, we were used a mix of both like numbers and insights, literally just quantitative analysis as well as the quantitative analysis to back up our recommendations. The goal was actually to come up with a clear and easy to understand suggestions for current staffing levels, along with some of the factors that might lead to changes in staffing as conditions evolve. As you can see from the map, we have different weather conditions. Like in the north, we are dealing with winter weather. In the south, we're dealing with some of the flooding issues. West, we're dealing with dust storms and other high wind situations. We also have the El Paso there. We're dealing with a kind of binational commercial trucks, the crossings and other things, and also we have 3 NBA teams and 2 NFL teams and numerous college teams as well. So there are a lot of special events we're dealing with. Anyway, next slide. So I guess the purpose of doing this is we're trying to figure out what is the right number of staffing for TMC. I guess keeping the right number of staff is key to running a organization smoothly. If you are short on staff, the existing team ends up with more work and overtime, which can hurt morale, reduce productivity, and lead to absenteeism and increase overtime cost. So on the flip side, having too many employees means that you are paying for unnecessary wages and dealing with inefficiencies. It also blocks current employees from advancing in their careers and spark conflicts and potentially disputes. So that's kind of why we look at these. And next, you could move to the next one. Yeah. So in this analysis, we looked at a variety of staffing plans from current TMC operations and reviewed the published papers on modern workplace staffing, including those focused on the 24/7 call centers. And also, we reviewed the literature from FHWA and TMC staffing plans from other states. Well, different methods are used to predict and justify the staffing needs. They often share common themes like using historical activity data and considering the unique insights of those working in the environment. This analysis basically takes both of these aspects into account and applies them to the TMC setting. Next slide, please. So I guess just to briefly describe what our hypothesis is. Basically, we have two type of methods. One is a quantitative, another is quantitative. So our hypothesis for quantitative is the TMC should be staffed based on a historical, present, and future activity trends. So that's kind of that. And our for example, we're using the ratio methods, like what is the staffing ratio, at the current level, what are the productivity ratios. For example, the staffing ratios help predict hiring needs based on the organization's structure. Like if a TMC has 5 lead operators for every manager, that ratio guides how many operators to recruit. And for example, for the productivity ratios, they can estimate the number of events each control room operator handles and use that to forecast hiring needs. So like if a TMC handles 50,000 traffic events a year with 25 control room operators, they might need to hire more control room operators if the activity increases. So that's kind of that. And we also look at using some statistical regression analysis to project the trends in a time series way. And by analyzing number of events responded to, as well as control room operator staffing over the past 5 years, we can determine if the staffing was sufficient, and predict what will be needed for the next 5 years. And beside that, there are some factors that we can measure, but for example, like a potential in new technologies, and if only it were as simple as just plugging numbers into a formula to find the perfect staffing levels for TMC, but actually it's not. Factors like changing technologies, additional responsibilities can affect the results of the quantitative analysis. That is why after running the numbers, we need to consider and adjust the results based on the kind of some of the quantitative factors. So that's kind of what we doing. And next. So basically this kind of the data, what kind of data we're going to collect for quantitative analysis. And we'll look at the staffing, infrastructure, and mobility. For example, for the staffing, we'll look at what are the staffing retention rates, what are the current staffing levels, is there any data on the monthly operator activity levels, what is the number of ITS devices that are monitored, and what is the centerline mileage that the ITS devices have covered? Is there any data on the VMT in the region? So those are kind of the data that we're trying to gather and used as our quantitative analysis. Next. So as we can see for the quantitative analysis, we also look at different things. For example, what are the job functions of the control room operators in the TMC? Sometimes like control room operators, they have responsibilities outside their usual scope, which can affect estimated staffing levels, either positively or negatively. What are the new technologies and functionalities, if any, are expected to be introduced in the TMC over the next 1 or 2 years? And new technologies that add to the workload can increase the staffing level. However, if the new tech replaces the old system and makes things easier, it can reduce the estimated staffing level, right? So what are the major roadway and construction projects might impact the TMC activity levels in the next 1 or 3 years? Like a big roadway projects can significantly affect TMC operations, possibly requiring more staff temporarily, how we can address that. And depending on the past employee retention rates, it might be better to plan for overtime rather than hiring new staff. And also, are there any additional responsibilities that the TMC operators will be taking on? Like TMC staff might have tasks beyond the real-time traffic operations, like a data analysis, toll operations, signal timing, and other things that could increase the estimated staffing level. Has it been challenging to fill TMC's shift vacancies during like call-offs, control room operator vacations or employee turnovers? So easy of covering shift vacancies can impact the estimated staffing level either positively or negatively. Is there any concern about the future, TMC funding that might affect, like staffing levels? And also, what are the rationalization for desired staffing level determined before this analysis and have been made and under what conditions? So the current management team at TMC is the best judge of the staffing needs, reviewing their insights, engaging them, and come up with a good rationalization can impact the estimated staffing level. And some of the additional responsibilities might not be which might not be typical TMC operations, like monitoring air quality in a tunnel can also increase estimated staffing levels. All these factors will be considered after we plug in the quantitative analysis numbers and make adjustment that we come up with the estimated staffing level. Go ahead, move to the next. Thank you. So this is basically actually that's move to the next, yeah. So basically this kind of after performing quantitative analysis as well as qualitative analysis, so we make adjustment and consider both methods and put together that estimate staffing level. That's kind of how we come up with this the right one. Next. So this graph is intended to simply relay the fact that this is a kind of a very complicated and thorough process used to determine appropriate staffing levels through kind of a scientific process. We gather a lot of quantitative data as well as quantitative data. And using different formula. I mean, I didn't mention formula, but in our staffing report that has detailed the description of how each of these data are utilized to, to come up with those adjustments in numbers. Next. So in the next few slides, I just wanted to highlight the updates that we did in 2022 compared to the 2018 analysis. So this is a kind of in the Austin area. Austin urban sprawl has really influenced every aspects of the TMC events and personnel growth. So despite this, the current staffing level of the 27th full-time employees should be enough for the next few years. Basically, this is based on the average number of events each staff member handles per month, as well as the total number of instrument sentinel miles being monitored, which is actually less than most of other TMC in Texas. So we have 5 24/7, actually total of 6 24/7 TMCs. So this kind of easy TMC. And for the next one, if you move to the next one, that's Dallas. Next slide, please. So next one is the Dallas. Basically, that's the Deltrans TMC. It could really use more operators with the 2 full-time employees per shift, each getting 2 days off like per week. It would be also great to add another shift lead to oversee and ensure quality across almost all shifts, including like overnight. Although the TMC staffing has significantly improved since its low levels before 2018, it still needs most additional staff compared to any other Texas TMCs. So that's kind of what we found for the Dallas TMC. So next one, that's I think it's El Paso. Yes. Since we did since the 2018 staffing analysis, we started using contract to help with workload. So this has really boosted our ability to handle all district-wide events and go 24/7 starting in September 2022, about 2 years ago. The timing for this extra help was perfect, but not just for the expanded hours, but also because the district's field equipment has grown by like a 48%. Like they have instrumented a lot of their roadways with cameras, TMS, and sensors, and as well as center line miles were monitored. We have increased about by like a 33%. So with the 24/7 operations starting like September 2022, we still recommend that add additional dedicated trainers, but this person could also step in as an operator when needed. This idea is consistent with our like 2018 reasoning. A systems analyst would still be useful. We think that the role should be shifted more towards a data analyst or a hybrid role. So this way we can make the most of the large amounts of data coming into the TMC. Analyzing and reporting on this data will make TMC even more valuable to the to our operations and other stakeholders like traffic incident management community, so we can utilize that to track how we respond to incidents and make decisions based on that. Next slide, please. So this is a kind of Fort Worth. The Fort Worth district is now handling all public information tasks as well, including like social media updates and traffic signal management. These rules were initially recommended for TMC back in 2018, but have been removed from that like kind of estimate staffing level in 2022. So the current lead operators can take on one of the three shift lead positions, which means that they're shifting one full-time employees to the operator category. These changes result in a net estimate staffing level of 20 full-time employees, about a 10% reduction from the 2018 level. But looking ahead, it's crucial for the kind of a quality and a retention of operators to keep a dedicated trainer who can also evaluate TMC staffing performance. This role is currently filled by a textile employee. So the analysis also suggests that adding a dedicated data analyst to the operations team, the TMC handles data from multiple sources, and having someone to collect, analyze, report on this data would benefit many textile and other partner agency stakeholders. So that's kind of a recommendation. And the next slide, please. So next one is Houston. When we compare like a construction and a maintenance activity to other like a textile district TMC operations, it is clear that we need to keep a same number of operators to maintain 24/7 operations. We're missing kind of a dedicated control room trainer and a data analyst, and as well as a construction and maintenance coordinator. These roles might currently be like a secondary responsibilities for existing staff, but given the volume of the events that we manage and number of instrument miles in a district, we really need to add these three full-time positions. That this need is detailed and in our like a report I mentioned earlier. And last, I think next one is I think it's a San Antonio one. So San Antonio TMC is called a TransGuide. Basically, TransGuide has been handling more and more events. I guess each year with kind of 18% from 2018 and 2022. So there with that growing number of events, along with increases of the field equipment, and we need to expand our operating staff. This some of these added stuff that you can see. I'm not going to do. And the next one is I guess it's just I just want to conclude with my so we're doing this. I know there are a lot of the staffing could be impacted by a lot of things, number of events and instrumental highways, as well as new technologies and special events. I know someone mentioned earlier they're hosting a 2016 World Cup. We're also hosting that in the Dallas area as well as in Houston area. we have been coordinating with our stakeholders in the region as well as in the nation as well to handle how we can best manage those. There are definitely needs additional stuff for things like that. So how we can address those, and also one thing I wanted to wanted to mention is like when we talk about a number of incidents we respond. Those incidents they're not born equally. Some incidents take a long time, so we need more staffing, and some incidents just like a very quick. So how we can differentiate that? That's something that we need to consider. With that, thank you very much for the opportunity. I turn it back to Judith. Thank you.